Hello dogs, Lildawg right here, right now, back with magical eyes. Red is for Anguish. Might be wondering, isn't there supposed to be a Minecraft episode today? That's the thing, I'm actually getting ready for the Ender Dragon fight, and I honestly want to reserve the next episode for finding the stronghold. And so once I get enough Ender Pearls and Eyes of Enders, I will start the next episode of Minecraft. But for now, we have this game, and I kind of want to start getting through it and stuff. Chiharu side. Luckily, it was easy to find a CD I wanted. I think I was in the store for less than 10 minutes, but as I get back to Shopping Street, I see that it's getting more crowded. I can still put up with this many people, but I don't feel like being around here any longer. Since I bothered to come out here, I wanted to look for some clothes or books, but I think I'll just head straight home. Excuse me, do you have a moment? I suddenly hear a voice from behind me, but it doesn't startle me at all because it's a familiar one. Turning around, I predictably faced the boy from earlier and the girl that I witnessed near the theater. Thank you again for your help earlier. Thank you! I see you found each other. We did. And we saw you on our way home. So we thought we should say thank you. I told June that I wanted to thank you. You didn't need to go that far. Actually, she really hates being alone, right, Shizuku? Yeah, I was pretty scared back there. I was lucky that I found her so quickly. I see. Their gratitude feels a bit too weighty for my half-hearted response back then, and now I'm starting to feel a bit guilty. Man, we wouldn't have gotten lost like that with a mobile or smartphone. We wouldn't have. Don't you both have cells? We don't. Big Bro tells us that we should get those when we grow a little more. But Big Brother says it's too early for us to have them. Let me ask you something. Are you two siblings? No. That's right, no. The rather smooth harmony between them makes me feel their relationship goes beyond mere friendship. I'm sorry, I asked because it sounded like you two referred to the same person as your big brother. Also, I thought you two had a little in common. I mean, not your looks, but it's more than your aura. I'm not making much sense, am I? Well, I don't think you're wrong about your feelings about us. She makes the first eye contact with me, smiling. Shizuku's big brother we're talking about. It's my big brother. Oh yeah? But I'm basically in the family too. Yeah, he's in the family too. I'm sorry, maybe it's a complicated subject. Nishishi. Nishishi? Is that a laugh? Nishishi. We're complicated like that. Nishishi? We're complicated like that. I thought I brought up till I get married, but it doesn't seem that serious based on the smiles they're wearing. Since you are hanging out together, you're very close, right? Of course! Even that answer alone makes me feel it. Actually, we're originally going to be here with our brother too, but he got something else to do and couldn't make it. He said he had to work. And that's why they didn't let us in the movie theater. Why not? Something 12. Those under the age of 12 must be accompanied by a grown-up, that's what they told us. That's what they said to us. Oh, that makes sense. It's a PG-12 movie. I thought that sort of rating system existed just in form, so I'm surprised they actually denied these kids entry at the ticket booth. Is this supposed to be PG-13? Then again, this is probably Japan, so they probably have a bunch of different rating systems than we do over here in America. Unless they're the same. I don't know. Grown-ups required. Is it a horror movie you want to see? It's not horrifying at all. Actually, it's the second series we watched first on video. We watched it. You've got to give my body back. That's how its Samurai TV commercial goes. Have you seen it, sis? I have. It's playing at the theater over there, right? Yeah, that's it. People under 12 have to come with grown-ups. 11 years old is mature enough, don't you think? Yeah, it's mature enough. Well, in my opinion, 11-year-old is still a child. The moment I've learned their ages, I'm even more impressed by how politely they've been behaving. It's not just their language or pre-consciousness. I don't feel any difficulty when I'm talking to them. If anything, it's like I'm having conversation with someone almost my own age. Sis, that's what they call blind belief. I don't think so. If you were grown-ups, I would be a middle-aged woman. That's one of those growth sensitives. I don't have any feelings that appetizing. Like Jen, I think it's girly sensitivities. Yeah, that's it, girly sensitivities. I don't know what that means. Besides, doesn't the doll lady say you're not supposed to pick up age as a conversation topic with ladies? Oh, yeah? Yeah. I didn't know that. Sorry for what I did, sis. Launched by a little girl, the little boy gives me an apologetic bow, surprising, frankly. My first impression of these two was that the Shizuku girl dependently strings along with this June boy. It seems to have been a bit off the mark. Well, you shouldn't apologize about it, or else that would hurt their feelings even worse. Is that so? I'm being reminded that those 3 words, is that so, reminds me of freaking Nobunaga Oda from Samurai Warriors. I cannot get those 3 words out of my mind. Every time I hear it, it reminds me of him. He says, is that so, constantly. Like, is that so? Like, let me find it. Here we go.
Nagamasa had the temerity to attack me. And that is a betrayal of his love for you, is it not?
No, you are my betrayer, brother. You test people and play with them. And there is no man alive who will stand for such treatment.
Is that so?
You are the reason for which I live, my love. And if you wish it, the reason for which I die as well.
Is that so?
Fate has finally set you and I at each other's throats. I can't promise you that I won't enjoy this. Wait for me when you get to hell, will you? I'll be taking the spot right next to yours.
Is that so?
Please forgive me, brother, for pointing my lance at you. But I have no choice. I must stay true to my faith.
Is that so? A bird that no longer sings is useless and should be killed.
How do you know the bird hasn't just found better things to do? It's like when you see a senile old man. Maybe he's crazy, maybe he's attained enlightenment. Only the old man knows for sure.
Is that so?
He says this like...
Your tactics, my lord, are entirely unpredictable, yet never miss.
Like, it reminds me of Nobunaga Oda, and this continues through every single Samurai Warriors game. And those 3 words will always remind me of freaking Nobunaga. And this is a 5-minute video of Nobunaga Oda just going, is that so? Is that so? Anyways, back to it. I'll leave a link to the video. Yes, I'm not concerned about my age, but someone who does might take the apology as sarcasm. All I'm concerned with is Emikawa's age preference, but even if I find that out, I won't be able to do anything about it. Okay, I should just ask her for her age point blank. Don't ask without any particular reason. If you ask by accident, you won't apologize. That sounds hard. It is hard. My imitation must have sounded amusing to them, as they erupted in joyous laughter. Aside from Emikawa, I haven't had this sense of intimacy in years. That's the only reason for what I'm about to ask. There's no ulterior motive. So, Shizuku, June. How about I take you guys to the movie? I do understand how objectively awkward it appears for me to ask these complete strangers to a movie. Given how mature and smart they are, it's no wonder if they turn me down. However, the facial expressions they put on is neither quizzical nor incredulous. It looks as though they're seeing through everything. I can't put it into words, but when I look at them, even though they're completely different from him in every way, I actually turned down the volume of the game. That way you guys couldn't hear the music in the background. I'm gonna turn that back up. There we go. Completely different every wage from age to his outward. Blah! They slightly resemble a Makama. And then I realized that's the biggest reason I've been able to treat them as those of similar age. We don't know. Right, Suzuku? We don't know, Ju. What do you say? What do you say? I sound like a dangerous person, don't I? Like a kidnapper cozuling girl. Like a carnivorous plant? Like a Nepenthes rafflesiana. I'm not sure about your metaphor, but I guess it's stuff like that. Wait, it's incredible you two know such words. You okay with that, Shizuku? Sure, why not? Alright, then we're taking you up on your offers. Taking your offer. You mean you're going to a movie with me? Now you've changed your mind, you don't want to do it with kids like ourselves anymore? You don't want to do it anymore? No, of course I do. I was the one who asked you after all. No worries, I'm not going to eat you. June, look at the time. Ah, right. Since the movie starts at 11:30. What? My wristwatch says a little past 10:12, 11:12, 20. Then we better hurry. They're gone already. Before I even finish speaking, Jun and Shizuku are running along toward the theater, hand in hand. That's exactly what I imagined them doing. Hopefully I'll have a chance to do it just like them. Immersed in one of the ideal future visions of mine, I scurry down the street to catch up with them. Alright. Gotta check if there are any side quests. Okay, no. Business district. Okay. You side. You! Under a stunningly blue sky, perfect for the long-awaited vacation, our conversation continues in complete contrast to the beauty overhead. What's plaguing us the most is that it's the only volume that's peculiar. This might not be the appropriate thing to say, but when we look into each of these cases, most of them are stuff we deal with on a regular basis. What kind of voice did I give him? Hold on. Alright, I got his voice back. This might not be an appropriate thing to say, but when we look into each of those cases, most of them are stuff we deal with on a regular basis. Categories and motives of crime, distribution of age and gender of offenders and victims, even how the offenders talk back after their arrests, there's nothing different from the usual. Well, how's that bothering you? For instance, in a depressed economy, money-related incidents tend to increase. If someone throws a lot of bladed weapons or guns around, the city gets unsafe. You can expect plenty of incidents to be caused by that weaponry. Normally, between the incidents, there has to be some sort of common ground that derives from the cause of the increase in crime. I agree with that, based on my own experience. Just a year ago, I was in charge of this case where people from a certain company committed crimes manipulated by a variance hypnosis-like powers. And all of them had no memory of what they had done during the manipulation. I believe that once we discover that common denominator, it will be a breakthrough for the investigation. But you haven't discovered anything in common between each of the cases yet? That's right. Whether the criminals take some kind of drug on a routine basis, whether they adhere to a particular ideology or belief, whether there is any outstanding brutality or impulsiveness in the incidents, we tried to approach the common denominator from every possible angle, but came up with nothing. Consider this an outsider's opinion, but there could be a drug that hardly leaves any trails of itself. Perhaps it's just that the common denominator is just extremely hard to discover. That's a very good viewpoint. Actually, that's the first thing we came up with. But the organized crime department couldn't root out even a single rumor after those thorough investigations. This department used to be called the 4th Division of the Criminal Investigation Department, in charge of both domestic and international crime syndicates dealing guns or drugs. Generally, backing by a large organization is required to provide with or sell illegal guns and drugs by the boatload. Here, Azuma explains how improbable it is for an individual person to spread those illegal products throughout an entire city without any crime syndicate knowing that. They might be using some stealthy method of communication. How could such a large group get and use it when none of us ever heard of it? Right. Even without an actual communication device impounded, we should have caught wind of a rumor or two by now. As a policeman, I'm keenly aware how true it is that we cannot control the tongues of others. But nonetheless, there hasn't even been any gossip about it. There's literally nothing because there's neither fire nor smoke. Precisely. And besides, drugs we confirmed no smoke from every possibility I mentioned earlier. So you haven't even begun to solve the case yet. The absolute number of cases were small. It would be understandable that you couldn't uncover the source of smoke. Yet, ironically, now there appears to be more than enough. Despite that, the police are still totally clueless, which means, now that things have turned out like this, I'm starting to feel like there's no reason for the sudden increase to begin with. That's the last thing we want to think about. Who could solve a case that lacks any motives or causes? What on earth is going on in the city? That's exactly what we want to know. The whole cop shop I work in has been held for the past month. That said, as long as things keep happening in spite of all the struggles by the authorities, they have no choice but to press ahead. And on top of that, the more incidents occur, the more number of victims grow. This will soon start affecting many things other than the police. Wait a minute. Up until now, I was too focused on how inexplicable the situation is to realize what he has been really wanting to tell me. Azuma, does this whole thing include incidents where people die? Did you forget I said all kinds of cases? To be honest, I'm surprised you didn't know anything about this. In fact, I even expected you to ask me for more intel. It's very understandable. The variants are differently shaped entities into which living beings turn when death comes to them. On that premise, if the number of deaths increase, the number of variants should increase accordingly. The idea struck me too. I thought you guys would be swamped too. No, at least not in the area I'm in charge of. If the developments in this area are no coincidence, you should probably get yourselves ready for whatever might be coming afterwards. Now I get it. When Azuma said a consultation for both you and me for doing these unrewarding jobs, he meant it literally. He said it to express his sympathy for the supposed busyness at my end. Since this is one bizarre case, I'm willing to look into all kinds of possibilities, even if we wind up still adrift at sea. I've been a bit wordy so far, but the point is crystal clear. Do you think any of you disobeyers or variants are being involved in this fuss? Hold up. I have no idea what happened. The recording software crashed. Thankfully, the entire first part of the episode saved. I'm not sure if it's fortunate or not for him, but my answer to the question must be the opposite of what he anticipated. This is just my personal presumption, but I hardly think so. I forgot what his voice is already. What a swift answer. When you look at the disobeyers collectively, we're not slack and lenient enough to miss out on anything suspicious that's risen to the surface anyway. So you're already familiar with this. No mistake, just like you and me, there should be an information exchange network between the brass. Yeah, chances are pretty good. And considering that even a frontline member like me hasn't gotten anything from my supervisor, they probably don't suspect any connections between said phenomenon and us presently. We've had plenty of criminals and evidence from the cases so far, you've had plenty of criminals and evidence from the cases so far, haven't you? Enough to occupy the cells and evidence storage. In that case, I'm pretty sure they already went through all those criminals and evidence materials to see if there were any trails of supernatural powers left on them. Even after that, we haven't made a move. Meaning no trails were found. I assume that's the conclusion. The conclusion for now, that is. I see. I'm pretty confident about what I shared with him so far, but most of it is still based on my theories. I'm going to need to confirm with Pops later. Well, to tell the truth, I didn't expect there to be involvement from your side either. Based on past experience, if it was important to your side, there would have been intervention by now. There's been nothing interrupting your investigation? Not at all. No interference by anybody. That lowers the possibility of variance involvement even further. Man, now I know that you guys have nothing to do with this, I can't help but accept that things have been happening for no reason whatsoever. You know, that means nobody can tell when it will end. Yes. Boy, I want to quit my goddamn job and go play with alpacas. Go play... I want to go play with alpacas. Did you know alpacas spit when they're mad? That would be a big reward to me. That really underlines both your love for animals and how exhausted you are. I wish I could smoke on this bench forever, but I guess it's about time to go, otherwise I'd get the taxpayers pissed off. I'll try to pay more attention to my surroundings. Can you do it even if it doesn't have anything to do with the variants? You know the city pretty well, you may be able to find out something we can't. I will. Alright then, I'm really leaving. You make sure you get a hold of me whenever you're in trouble, okay? Will you come save me? No, but I'll bring you someone tough instead. Haha! Unlike a strong-hearted citizen like you, a wimp officer like myself is all tied up with his own business. The self-proclaimed wimp officer lazily walks away, waving his hand in farewell. Left alone in the park, I can feel an indefinable mist-like thing swirling inside my mind. It's not that I can make out anything particularly from the story Azuma told me. What causes the mist is an impending sense of crisis. What if it is linked to something that's still unknown? My golden week started with an ounce of glee, but it seems it's already about to get messed up by the irrational side of my everyday life. Alright, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. I've got to make sure this one actually gets out today, and I've got to actually edit the two parts together. So, this one's going to end here.